Good evening, everybody. Jonathan Glass here from the Healing Essence Center and Total Life Cleanse. And yeah, it's been a while since I've been on a live stream. I've kind of taken the summer off and chilled out. It was a really nice summer. My son was home from Europe and school. And so anyway, I'm just feeling inspired to start doing some live streams again. And one of the topics that is really sort of hot right now and pertinent is intermittent fasting. And I'm sure you've heard about it. If you haven't, there's a lot of information out there. Fasting has become very uh, interesting, very sort of popular in a way. And there's a lot of different fasts out there, a lot of different ways of thinking about it. Science is sort of catching up to the understanding the benefits of it. It's not sort of just anecdotal. It's not just based on sort of religious traditions. It's not based on sort of, I guess you could say radical juice fasts or different perspectives, different fasts and books that have been out over the years. It's really a lot of science is really coming out, proving the benefits for decreasing body weight, lean mass, inflammatory processes, breaking down diseased cells, igniting the body's healing process. So many benefits are there in fasting. So, but tonight, and we're going to talk more about that. Tonight, I would just like to touch on intermittent fasting, and I'm not going to get into great details, but I always like to make the connection between what modern science is recommending and when they actually come up with something pretty good with what was the ancient wisdom. And the ancient wisdom that I generally relate to is in the Ayurveda realm. Ayurveda, the knowledge of life from ancient India. Because up until this point, I've never found anything in modern science that has proved anything that Ayurveda has said to be inaccurate. Ayurveda, so let's look at intermittent fasting a little bit. It's a very simple process when you think about it. All it's doing is acknowledging that in a given day, we're doing one of two things. We're either feeding the body or we're fasting. We're either feeding or fasting. So throughout the day, if you have breakfast at 7 in the morning and you have lunch at 1, that means you've been fasting from 7 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. So this is a really important concept, and a lot of people get very, very confused about that. And there's been a lot of thinking over the years. Well, I got to keep my blood sugar even, so I'm going to eat every 2 hours, and in order to keep my blood sugar even, and if I do that, then I should lose weight, and nobody loses weight, and so many different problems come from that. So in Ayurveda, it's recommended that we eat a small, clean meal in the morning, moderate, clean meal in the morning, not bacon and eggs, not greasy, not heavy, something quite light but nutritious. The lunch, generally speaking, is meant to be the largest meal of the day. And then the evening, we eat like a pauper. So what they say is eat like a prince in the morning, a king in the afternoon, and a pauper in the evening. This is intermittent fasting. Also recommended is that you eat before sunset. And so then what you're doing, what is intermittent fasting? The traditional intermittent fasting these days is giving about 12 to 16 hours between your last meal at night and your first meal in the morning. This is Ayurveda. This is what Ayurveda has been recommending for thousands of years. It's common sense because when at night, first of all, we don't need to be eating a lot at night because, we should be resting. We should be, a few hours after the sun goes down, we should be taking rest. During sleep is when the body is meant to focus on its own detoxification processes, its own breaking down of unhealthy cells, its immune system. And what does it do? If it needs energy to do that, it uses its own stored nutrition and stored fat to do that. So many people, just by doing intermittent fasting, just by eating no later, being done at 7 o'clock at night and not eating till 8 or 9 the next morning, will actually begin to lose a few pounds, extra pounds that they're holding on to. Eating late at night generally means you're up too late. You know, if you have a small meal at night and then you're up till 10, 11, 12, and all of a sudden you're hungry, guess what? You've stayed up too late. Better to go to sleep at 10, sleep through the night without a full stomach, wake up in the morning, have something light, and then have your big meal at noon. If we get into these habits, we'll find that our blood sugar starts regulating. Naturally, we'll start losing weight. Our mental clarity will improve. Our digestion will improve. The belly weight will start to go just by doing that. Just by doing that. No big fancy diets, no keto, no this, no that. You don't have to, those are all beneficial. There can be beneficial aspects to different diets, no doubt. But just by following the Ayurvedic idea of prince in the morning, king in the afternoon, or princess in the morning, queen in the afternoon, and pauper in the evening. And the pauper should be light and not after 8 p.m. certainly. You know, ideally 7 o'clock is better, 6 o'clock is even better. And these things are really hard in our culture because our culture is not wired for early evening eating. It just isn't. So these are habits that need to be cultivated. But once they're cultivated, you'll find that those, you know, stubborn 5, 10 pounds that you haven't been able to lose in 15 years will actually start coming off. They just will. And not just that, it's not just obviously about losing weight. You're giving your body a chance to rejuvenate, to heal. That's what it's supposed to do when you're sleeping. The nervous system is supposed to rejuvenate and heal. It's like the Etch-a-Sketch, you know, when you clear it, that's what's supposed to happen when we're sleeping. If we eat late at night, the body has to focus on digestion and all the processes that involves. Okay, so that's, you know, that's what's happening at night. So it takes away from the miraculous benefits of sleep, the miraculous benefits of enhanced immunity that comes from good sleep, the miraculous benefits of utilizing stored fat for energy. It takes energy to sleep. So you will lose weight literally at night if you don't eat a big meal, or lose weight, or at least begin to regulate your weight optimally. And this comes down to habits. It's not easy. I will not say it's easy. I've been working on that myself this summer. And I lost about 7 pounds over the summer just by doing that, not by doing anything fancy whatsoever. And I mean, I've known this for years and been talking about it, but sometimes myself, I'd, you know, get home late after work and got into some bad habits sometimes, eating late at night, even if it was, you know, supposedly something pretty healthy. So really working on that is huge. It's a huge thing. I love how science is really you know, catching up with this, but it's the ancient wisdom. It's common sense. We need to give the body a break from constant food, constant stimulation. We just need to do that, and that's how the body heals. So this is Ayurvedic wisdom. Science is backing that up, and it is a good idea occasionally to do 1 day or 2 days a week of just eating one meal. This is really good, especially for the heavier body types, the pittas or the kaphas. For those of you that know what that means, especially a very strong, heavy body type, they could do very well with just having a little tea in the morning, something like that, and a good, strong, good-sized meal at lunch, and then not eating the rest of the day, drinking plenty of water, maybe some tea, like that, and then eating the next day at lunch. That's a 24-hour fast. That's 24 hours without eating, really, or 23 hours. And you will find that every time you do that, you'll lose a pound or two. It's quite remarkable. I'm talking about in terms of weight loss again. But I don't want to make this sound like this is just about weight, because when we give the body a break, it can detoxify naturally. It can utilize its own stored nutrients. It can break down unhealthy cells more efficiently, more effectively. The blood sugar can start to regulate. The body can start functioning at a higher level. The immune system can be enhanced. So again, this is really a great habit to start focusing on. It will change your, not just physically, but mental clarity will improve. And with these good habits, when we can control our senses, this is an Ayurvedic principle or a yogic principle, if we can control our senses a little bit better, then we can control our mind better. And I don't mean, control like a vice. By controlling the senses, when the senses are calm, when we're not overly attracted to tastes and things like that, when we enjoy our meals, of course, but when we're not constantly looking for something, this is a very bad habit. It's bad for our health, but ultimately actually agitates the mind. So it's more difficult to be calm. It's more difficult to meditate. It's more difficult to be centered and focused. So it's a very, very good habit to eat early in the evening, a light meal. Every once in a while, skip your evening meal. Maybe if you want to do some soup, or for those of you who want to eat light, a shake of some kind. But eat light. And then sometimes just completely avoid the evening meal once or twice a week. And you'll find you start feeling better, you start feeling lighter, more mental clarity, immune system will become stronger. There's so many benefits. So this is now the understanding of modern science, but it's being backed up, I would say, with the ancient wisdom of Ayurveda. And it comes down to common sense. So we'll touch on that. I'm going to touch on this more because it's a very interesting subject. We will be having our Total Life Cleanse starting in October, and we're going to really be emphasizing this point in October. So it's really good opportunity for people to really get focused, to really change some habits for life, which will make a big difference. So thanks so much. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.